Thank you guys for coming. I mean, I know it's late. It's very intimate. If you want to recruit more people, I'm down. Go ahead. I'll wait. All right, let's get into it. I want to be as interactive as possible. I like doing stuff where you almost get to see me work because I learn better that way. So hopefully you learn better that way too. But this is the complete guide to Apple search ads. Just a little bit about me. Been doing apps for a long time, essentially. It started in 2011. Started podcasts that everybody should be listening to in 2013. And then 2014, the audience started coming to me. So I ended up leaving that job, running growth for a startup in San Francisco. If you haven't noticed by my accent, I'm from California. Yeah. And so anyways, they started coming to me that I ended up leaving my corporate job to do this full time. And now we're a marketing agency focused on paywall optimization, conversion rate optimization, ASO, ASA, and all the fun stuff. All right. Emery covered this, and I don't know if you guys went to this session, but here's why I love ASA. Easy to set up. No MMP required. Apple is just kind of telling you what the hell is happening anyways. Easy to manage. It's just math, and I'll break it down in the most simplest math problems possible. And then it's one of the best ROI channels from my experience. Now, obviously, every app is different, so they'll take this as like, yo, I got to do this. But it has been pretty consistent across the board, okay? And then I'm going to point to the same slide that Emery had about the singular one, too. So one of the top. It's an alphabetical, okay? It's not like search ads number one, it's alphabetical, all right? Cool, let's get to it. All right. I think the campaign structure, I was kind of looking at yours, too. I peeked over. I think campaign structure is the most important. I think this is what most people get wrong. Here's what Apple suggests. Now, no offense to any of the ASO firms here. That's what a lot of them suggest too, okay? So they go brand, category, competitor, all on exact. And I'll explain all these in a little more detail. Then you have a discovery and they have the broad ad groups, broad and search match campaign on. And I'll explain all of this, what it all means. But I personally believe, this is my personal opinion, no data back, you should do it this way. And I'll tell you exactly why. So have your brand, that's the most important. Then have the exact, that's like competitors, everything that Apple said, category competitor, all right? That's all under exact. I'm combining it. Now I'm breaking out the discovery into its own campaigns. The simple reason is you can only manage your budgets on a campaign level. So like, sometimes, one of our campaigns we just set up, search match is doing really well. That means no keywords. Apple, you do the work, all right? It's doing really well. But if I just put it under discovery, one, I'm lazy. How would I see it on like the campaign, really quick screen? And two, how do I scale that up? And so when we're trying to scale, sometimes these discovery campaigns actually help us scale faster than an exact match campaign. So exact is just all the keywords that you want to really target. And the only time when I do start breaking it out is when I'm like, oh, you know what? This keyword's really important. Let me break it out into its own campaign. Or this keyword, like I'll show you examples, but like we work with a big video editor app and we put everything under exact, but then we pulled out our video editor keywords around video editing and put it into its own campaign so we can manage the budget there. It's just about campaign management, the daily spend. That's it. So here. The wrong way? Just kidding. And the right way. All right, so here's exactly why. So I like to always have data with why I have these opinions, all right? So this is a big client. I try to mark out everything. And you can see it is me up there. That's me. So here, generic, right? And you can see the spend and the cost per acquisition, all these numbers. And we just broke it out here because I did a CPP, like Emery said. And this is a big brand, so it's not like, we can really put out. They don't just do video editing, right? And so that's why we did it this way. And that way I can manage. Like sometimes discovery, you can see the broad, I did put this in this way, but this one, I did put it in the wrong way. But you can see the spend and you can see that discovery and broad are doing better. Like this, I called it search match, but this is a discovery campaign. So you can see like they're doing a lot better than the exact match campaign, right? And now I can really figure out, maybe I want to spend 100. Maybe it can go up to 100. Maybe I want to spend 75 a day. So you can see that's why I like it that way, because just visually it's easy. I can log into Apple Search Ads, see any campaigns that are going crazy, go into those campaigns, adjust those bids, and then I'm out. All right, managing bids. How are you guys doing in terms of like, actually, I won't get into real detail. All right, here's how we set up the starting bid. Who has Apple Search Ads right now? Thank you. Come on, this is like an intimate room. So, and who's thinking about it right now? Oh, everybody's starting. Okay, all right. So I will skip over this a little bit, but this is on average, and Emery, you tell me if you see something different here, but on average, this is what we normally see for a conversion rate. Now this conversion rate is very key because that's gonna really determine how much you can bid for a particular keyword, right? So brand, 70-90, exact, so that's competitor, generic keywords all into one, 30 to 40, 20 to 35% on those. So I'm less conservative on those discovery campaigns, but I'm gonna be more aggressive on the exact match campaigns. And here's how I determine the cost per tap. So Apple, you pay per tap. That's why conversion is so expensive, so critical, because if people are tapping on your ad, but not installing it, then you're gonna pay a boatload on this. So your ideal cost per acquisition is a simple math formula. It's just, cost per tap is simple math. It's just your ideal cost per acquisition multiplied by your conversion rate for that particular keyword, yeah? So I have this handy dandy spreadsheet that I put together, and then you can see, that just makes it easy for me. So when I'm adjusting bids, I just pull this up. What's the client's ideal cost per acquisition? What is the keyword converting at? And I just quickly adjust the bids. And that, like, when working with client, this is what I go to first and foremost. Usually their bids are like $5, $7. There's no real rhyme or reason, but when I'm first setting up the campaign, this is how I set it up. I might be a little bit more aggressive, so let's go back here real quick. Right, so on the exact match, I might just start at 50%, and then broad and search match, I might put that at 40%, just so I can get some data going. Because usually I'm cheap, and I'll start it at like 20%, but sometimes you get no data. And so I'd rather have a little bit more data, spend a little bit, and then pull back after I get some data. All right, cool tricks. And one of the things I want to do towards the end was just show you how it set up a campaign. How do I do keyword research? I was going to ask if anybody wanted me to audit their search ads. Just invite me and I'll take a look, but it is recorded. So unless Ben agrees to not publish it, then we'll just skip over that part. So Emery talked about this, custom product pages here, and we created them. Now, I've had mixed results. Anybody love custom product pages? Okay. Anybody seen mixed results? Yeah, all right. You still love it though. Yes, okay, I like that. Anybody hate custom product pages? No? Okay. All right. So we did a custom product page, and I think the one time it didn't work was when we pulled out Video Editor and put it on its own campaign, and like that campaign had a custom product page because this was generic. We're all branding, right? Big company branding. But then when we went after Video Editor, that's what really worked because we had no, whoops, I had a different slide in here, but we literally had no spend on Video Editor when it was just the normal search ads, like, normal App Store page, because it did nothing about video editing. It had some stuff, but when we call out Video Editor, that's when it really helped out. Okay, the other cool thing is competitor terms do work, right? So it's the same client. You can see some of the, even like non-English keywords work pretty well. So I try to put the spend, right? And you can see the spend's pretty decent. Cost per tap is really low. Now our ideal cost per acquisition was around $4 to $5, but you can see how much I actually put as a max bid and how much I was paying for. So this is the few times you can do Apple suggested, they'll usually be in this column, suggested bids, is these competitor terms. Now if it was like a generic term, like Video Editor or whatever it was, don't, unless you're willing, unless the math works, right? That CPT times CPA multiplied by conversion, unless the math works there, don't do it. You're gonna end up, if Apple's suggesting $5 to $10 for that keyword, you're likely gonna pay $5 to $10 for that keyword for generic terms. But for competitors, this is when it actually does work. Doesn't always work. Here, we had to adjust the bids right here, right? Because the cost per acquisition was a little bit too high. But it does work for competitive terms here. So what we do is we go aggressive, we just monitor it on a daily basis, and then we adjust based off the data. Okay, custom product pages. And we had to pull it out because he wouldn't let me use the slide. And he's like, no, I'm gonna have this slide. So I was like, all right, fuck it, I'll use it like this then. So this is what I love about these custom product pages. And this is why I said this, because I was like, look, if you're gonna go after TikTok, right? Well then call out TikTok. We've actually seen when we did a product page optimization for one of our clients, it was like calm stress, feel better, all that stuff, right? All the good emotions. And then we changed it to number one, let's just say meditation app. Number one meditation app did everything better. Actually, the right phrasing was like calm stress with this meditation app. So essentially it's the AdWords trick from back in the day, you know? I know you were probably 10 at the time, but it was when you would call out the keywords during AdWords, the PPC campaigns, you would call out the keyword that you were bidding on, and you bold it, and you had this little trick. So same trick here with custom product pages, in my opinion. If you just call out the keyword that you're trying to really aggressively go after, the tap-through rate should go up, the conversion rate should go up too. And that's why I really like this slide. I mean, I did one better, look. This is for Chrome, Opera, ditch the basic. I have to use this one, but I get to use this one for myself. And then here's Firefox, Fire the Fox here too. Okay, now I believe, anybody got a new app that has less than, let's say, 50 ratings? Everybody's got, well, fine. Okay, who's got less than 100? Less than 1,000. All right. You guys are, everybody's killing it, all right? You guys are buying, all right, after the party. All right, so here's what we did. Here's how you can instantly, because I believe with the Apple search ads that ratings, the number of ratings matters more than the actual average rating. Now the average rating can't be like crap. Like if it's above 4.1, then you're doing pretty well, okay? So how do we scale this? So I did this back in the day where I would open my app and ask for a rating, right? That didn't work, right? And so we have a YouTube channel and stuff, and so we have a community. People tell me, Steve, you know, that doesn't work. I've been saying, do it on second open, because 25% of your first opens come back, only 25%. That means they love you already, right? So just do it on second open. It's the first thing they see. They're like, no, Steve, that works okay, but if you do it after onboarding, if you guys have paywalls, if you do it after paywalls, it works better, right? So I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. So here's one client where we did this in. We added the review prompt after a paywall. Now his paywall is a hard paywall. Hard paywall just means no X on the actual, so it's only people who activated trial. And you can do that way too, right? So you know, people activated trial, they probably want to test out your app. And all we did on the very next screen was show them the review prompt, the default App Store review prompt, okay? So here's what happened to the numbers. Okay, I'm a numbers guy. November, 4.3, don't pay attention here. Divert your eyes here. 4.3, 32 reviews. December, 4.3, 51 reviews. January, 4.5, 313 ratings. It's all in the numbers, right? And I put this together in spite of this guy I was talking to. He's like, Steve, that would not work. What happened? What your average ratings would suffer, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, bro, enough people have told me that it works. Fine, I'll pull the data and I'll show you that it works. So thanks, William. All right, also you might be thinking, hey, he probably just got more downloads. Well, yeah, he did, but look at the average rate, the number of ratings he got over downloads. Just shot up from 1.3 to 4.5. So you got more ratings on average per download, and you got a higher average new rating. What do you think? That's good? You like that? Bernard? Yeah.
Is that ratings or reviews? Because how can somebody review an app if they haven't used it?
Right. No, these are ratings. So they're not written reviews.
They're not written reviews?
Yeah,
okay.
They're ratings. That's all.
But when they ask for a rating, they ask for review as well?
It does, the prompt, the default, Darren.
Sorry.
The default prompt will say you read it, you rate it, and then you can write a review too.
Okay,
Can
you go back to the review afterwards when someone could, I mean, or
Rich, do you know?
I just like tap 5 stars or whatever, tap OK, and then it asks to write a review, and you just cancel that out.
But can they like update their review pretty easily? Or they have to go to the App Store?
They can update it in the App Store.
Most people just won't write a review.
No.
You can ask for a review in maybe 2 or 4 weeks or something. That's what I do.
Okay.
Really the only way to review their English.
Yeah.
That's what I'm all about, community. Let's all talk to each other. So, anyways, like, look, with written reviews, I do think the same thing as Rich. Like, most people won't write a written review unless they're like extremely happy or extremely angry, right? Most people just beep. Now, I've noticed back in the day that written reviews would help out ASO and your keyword rankings, but not so much these days. Okay, that's it. So I wanna, if it's valuable, we can set up the campaign. Otherwise, frankly, we'd call it a day and just start the party. So you can find out here, find out more about me, youtube.com/appmasters. Please, trying to get to like 50,000 if I can. We're at 26 right now, so 1,000, not subs. Okay, literally. So you can find me out more here. But show of hands, please, it's not that hard of an ask. Would you like me to set up a campaign? I'm gonna open up my Apple search ads. I've got my friend Owen.
Do
app.
it.
Okay, cool. Thanks, Hannah. I need that. Thank you. I really needed that. All right. This is my boy Owen's app, as you can see.
Got an iPhone, that's the better one, yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Don't worry, mate. I got you. Check it out. All right, WordPal. So if I'm doing Apple search ads, sorry, Simon. I'm gonna go to AppFollow, and I'm gonna go to WordPal, and then I'm gonna go vocabulary. So I'm gonna literally do this. I like this, and Emery. I'm gonna put the main keyword that he's going after. So I'm gonna assume it's this. This is all my assumptions.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
No. You don't have to share intimate details if you don't want to. It's all my assumptions. It's in the title, so I'm like, he's gonna go after this keyword, okay? So I'm gonna look at this couple of apps. What I like to do from a keyword research perspective is I like to find the app with the least rating because I feel like they must be doing something right that they're not. Owen, it's you. I'm just kidding. So I'll just pick one of these, like vocabulary builder, right? And I'll click the little eye icon because I love, this goes into the Apple search ads stuff. Now searchads.com from mobile, actually they have the same tool that they can suggest too. So, and then I'm gonna pick out certain keywords. What do you think, Owen? Vocabulary?
Good one, yeah.
Yo, I gotta put like, see, I'm doing a lot of keyword research.
German.
Hannah, quiet there. Make sure I get no crazy text coming in. All right, there you go. All right. Thank you, Hannah, for being so chatty. All right, I'm gonna just start with 3, right? So you wanna really do all of this. What I found is, I have case studies on this, but if you rank for you wanna really target keywords that at least have 30. Now, Emery did say like sometimes 5 does work, the search score of 5. And so play around with that, but like I don't know if there's enough volume. I've had to test out the 5 keywords. I'm testing that out. Thank you, Emery. And then vocabulary builder is the main one, so I'm gonna definitely put that in there, right? And so these are the, let's just say, Owen's gonna probably have 100 keywords that he's going after, but these are the keywords that we're gonna go after right now. So this is my campaign. Don't mind sharing some of this stuff. So I'm gonna create a campaign. I don't have access to Owen's app, but you're gonna have to link your Apple search ads. And then essentially when I set up the exact match campaign, all these keywords are gonna be on exact match, right? Pretty simple. And then I think I'm gonna do the broad match one just because I think that's a little bit more complicated. Exact match, everybody understands exact match, right? Saw a nod over there. Okay, so search results, the state. I'm gonna call this broad. I'm gonna give it a $50 daily budget. I'm gonna call this broad. Oh, and you got an ideal cost per acquisition?
No, $1.50.
$1.50? Holy crap, that is hard,
It's
bro.
expensive.
All right. So I'll set it up. So maybe I'll start at 83 cents. No, this is a broad match. So I'm gonna start this 68 cents, right? And then I'm gonna turn this off because it's broad. I'm gonna have search match on its own campaign, right? Then I'm gonna add these keywords. So here's what I like to do. Boop. Okay, 68 cents, perfect. Hit save. Now here's what you also gotta do is hit add negatives. So you can add this to the campaign level, but I usually just have one campaign, one ad group. So I'm gonna put it on the ad group level. I'm gonna paste the same keywords and then I'm gonna put this on exact match. Yeah. Then here, this is where you can do custom product pages. Obviously I don't have any right here. And then if you want, you can then just make sure that you don't get re-downloads. Now, I used to do this where I'd make it for everybody, all users. It depends on your app, right? Like if you don't want re-downloads, if you don't want to target people who have installed your app and then deleted it, then don't, right? But for some clients, we do keep this all users. Most of the time, if you want to be cheap like me, just put new users and you'll be fine. And then you hit start campaign, right? So for a search match campaign, it's going to be a little bit different. We're going to do the same thing here, but we're not going to have any keywords whatsoever. Okay, so we're going to have search match turned on. The bids are going to stay the same. Obviously, we're calling this search match. And then everything else is the same. It's that simple, right? So you want those names, yeah.
I once heard that when you do new users,
Yeah.
it decreases a lot the volume because of the LAT thing, because it only targets users who are not with the limited tracking. Is that?
What do you think, Emery?
Yeah, it is. That's right. Personalized ads on need to be, enabled for the user for them to see that ad. So if you enable that, the only thing that doesn't, come over that is the device type. So you can do iPhone targeting or iPad targeting. That's not going to limit it. And anything else is going to limit it. Right now, opt-in rate is standing around like 22%. So that's the potential user base that you could show it to.
I think it depends. Honestly, like we used to set it up with new users all the time, and then I moved over to all users just because. And one of our clients was like, it was a paid app, by the way, that we're running this. And he was like, hey, let's just do new users. So it kind of made sense for him to only be targeting new users versus like, other users. So I generally do all users, but just in case you want to just start, I'm cheap, man. Like I like to start slow and steady. I'm okay with not getting everybody. Mate, that's it. You guys got any questions?
Yeah,
What's
what
that?
do you do with cannibalization, like on the round terms, when you set the bar?
Give me, like, why should I pay for somebody that is gonna search for and download my brand anyways?
Okay, so you're
Is
basically
that what you're
saying,
saying?
like, just don't bid on brand that much.
I think some clients. I work with clients. I think it really depends. Like, honestly, I'm like, who cares? Like, that's what I feel like, right? Like, if you really care, I personally wouldn't bid on my brand because I think most people who search for my brand are looking for me and they're gonna tap on me, right? But some people really care about their brand and they're like, no, I want to be that first placement. And so if you're that person, then go crazy. If you're like me and be like, I'd rather not pay, then I'll pay. I will say that I did talk to a friend of mine. Now, he is in the app space, but he's not like a hardcore app marketer like all of us here. He's like, Steve, how come we're not number one for our keyword? I'm like, bro, that is an ad. That's not us. So, I think I feel like it's more of an emotional solution or, I base it on emotions versus data.
Let's say I'm not brand name cannibalization, but you already rank for 1 or 2 or let's say 3rd place, and when you
I think it's worth it still.
if you rank already on the first place,
Yeah.
you still should run a campaign.
Yeah. What do you think, Cameron?
Well, it depends. It's about how much budget that you have. So yes, you're going to be facing cannibalization if you're ranking for number 1, 2, number 1 or 2, not so much as 3. But yeah, it's just more about the budget thing. The thing that you could look at is like compare keywords that you're doing, the performance that you're getting out of it. That's what the competitor is not getting out of their organic. Is how you could see that for the number of impressions that they're getting, right? So if that is so important to you, yeah, go ahead, do it. If it's not that much important and you want to spend that money a little bit more wisely for stuff that you cannot get any traffic on organically, then yeah.
You gotta use the mic, bro.
Okay. So Apple Search is there to convert a search. So the way we approach it is we look at times where a brand is maybe advertising on TV, so there's going to be higher search volume. So at those times, you're going to convert more of your TV ads. So it makes sense to align your Apple Search brand campaign with high volumes of search. So if a brand is doing TV, we would say have brand on, protect it.
Yep, I
I
like it.
back?
No, we'll pass it around. It's all good. Yeah, as you can see, like obviously brand does work, like going after competitors. So like there is an argument to be made to go after your brand too. You gotta grab the mic. Thanks. Fraser.
Steve,
Fraser.
Thank you very much. Any information about the Today tab ads?
All right, because I can speak honestly, right? Like, I hate it. I think it's BS. I think it's super expensive. Like, unless you got, what kind of budget are you working? Like, is it over 10,000, over 30,000 a month, 50,000, under 10? Where are you at? You're shaking your head. Under fit, over, exactly. Like, okay, look, if you got massive amounts of budget to spend and you just want to drive brand, go ahead and do it. But it's going to be expensive. Like, it's very hard to make it work with, if your cost per acquisition, I shouldn't keep showing this slide, I should show this slide. If your cost per acquisition is, your goal is like 0 and 1.5, it's not gonna work for you. But if you're like a big, massive brand and you're like, branding's important for us, then go for it. Like, I think it's more of a branding play because
Target your competitors.
you can't, it's a Today tab.
Yeah, but my point is, if you just want to go for the branding thing, your competitors also have usually good volume, so at least you can make yourself known as I'm an alternative.
I guess.
There's another placement this other users suggested or downloaded, below the product
That
page.
is
What
more
about this one?
Emery, you want to share it? No? Okay.
No,
yeah, you
no,
can,
no,
okay. That is more interesting to me because then I feel like it's more targeted. There's a product page. Here, let's pull it up for those who aren't. And so I'm gonna hit cancel. That's more interesting to me than the Today tab. I just don't, I think, look, my clients, like Simon, you might be different, Fraser, you might be a little bit different too. You guys are working with big clients. My clients are like startups. So we don't F around. We need to show results and we need to go. I don't have branding budgets that these guys do, right? Like, all right, bro, okay. So here, the Today tab, this is the Today tab, right? It's loading. And then the search tab, pretty horrid. But then the product page is down here. That's where you'll show up with similar apps. So that's where it's pretty interesting. Anybody else? Shall we go party then? All right, thank you guys so much.